So welcome back to the Gear Change episode of the Drivetime podcast. I'm joined again by Dominique Kleeman and Jacob Sullivan from TechCore 4. You're going to love this episode. We've got some great playlist recommendations too. So just, Jacob, thinking about data, you mentioned in the main episode it's really important to have quality data, and data comes from many sources. What tips and advice could you give to retailers as they kind of embark on how to make the most of the data that they have?
I think one of the things that's most complicated, since we're pulling data from all these different sources, I often see a lot of Excel spreadsheets that try and give you the answer to your question or try and show you what's going on. But the history of the data, any cleaning or changing to the data, all of that's been lost. And so you might be looking at a year-over-year performance. We had a client recently, we were diving deep into some of their data with them. You're looking at year-over-year performance, but no one wrote down the fact that there was a new dealer site that had been added, or that a dealer site had changed its primary brand. And so some of the data had been filtered out or cleaned. So one of the tips or tricks that I would give, whether it's in an Excel spreadsheet or some other data report, just write down where your data came from and what's been done to that data. And that's just so valuable from a business perspective when you're looking at the results. And one thing that's great is this is something we find that chatbots and the new AI is actually really, really helpful with asking it to break down reports or to help you construct reports, but keeping that information about what is it doing and including that in the report.
So you're actually understanding where data might be nuanced or influenced by changes. Don't just think you've had a really great year when you've had another site, you've had another site. So making sure that you're aware of how old your data is, when it was cleansed, how it was cleansed, and like knowing who's done what with it. So you keep a track of that.
That's exactly right. And it's just not something I think we're used to doing yet. But as we move into the nuances of the data being so important, these kind of details are really killer.
Critical. So as you're working with customers and you kind of, I suppose you're helping them understand where their challenges are now, because you're very customer facing. So where Jacob brings that kind of tech and background, do you find customers confident, or do you have to really hold their hands as they make these changes?
There's definitely a responsibility on providers to provide transparency into what a customer is getting, because there are so many buzzwords flying around, ML this and AI that, and cleansing this. And I do think that providers can do more to educate customers on what they're buying and what the limitations of what they're buying is.
Yeah.
Because no tech, and maybe we can strive to be this type of company, but no tech is going to solve all your problems.
No.
So it's about helping customers be confident on optimizing for the things that they care about.
Yes. That's really true.
If you are going to invest in a technology, do you really understand the features, functionalities, where their data is coming from, what they might be overlaying on top of that, et cetera, et cetera. So I do think customers are confident in the challenges that they have and what they want to solve for and where the opportunities are in their business, broadly speaking.
Yeah.
But that's where retailers can build more confidence.
We also try in the Gear Change episode to do some myth busting around whatever the topic is that we're talking to that guest about. So this episode, we talked a lot about data, how you can clean it up, how you can use it. So what I'd love to do is do some myth busting, if that's all right with you guys. Jacob, will come to you first.
I think previously technology's been less accessible in that it's been the domain of the engineers or the tech folks or the IT folks, and so that's where you get a lot of these buzzwords. And sometimes I think it's about us tech folk demonstrating how smart we are with large language models, chatbots, and AI. I think it's really moving into the domain owner space, not the technology people space. So, well, what do I mean by that? Folks who have a deep understanding of the automotive industry and the service industry and what customers want, they can now access that technology and actually do things that used to just be the domain of engineers. And that's a really powerful thing.
Yeah.
And we don't have to talk about technology and data using complex words. The data we invented all this technology to drive business in the first place. And so I think it's the myth is that technology is only accessible to engineers that we need to bust. I have a great program manager who works for me. She's worked for TechCore for many, many years. She did not consider herself a technologist. Couple days using some of the AI tools, and she is building deeply data-oriented applications with software. And she's just so impressed with herself. And the tools she's building are so helpful because she was the business user that built them, not an engineer. And that's a really powerful thing.
It makes it so much more accessible, doesn't it? And don't be afraid of it. I think we've had some really great guests on talking about AI. Just like have a plan, have a play. You talk about doing it in your own business. You've actually got like AI workshops in your own business to upskill yourselves. Talk about how does that work and does everyone get involved?
Jacob's running them and they're really popular. But there was a piece of advice that somebody gave me in a previous life that as a chief revenue officer, your job is actually to help your team be experts at the thing that you're selling. And so if you're an expert at marketing, you have to have a team that are experts at marketeers.
Yes.
And it's really impressive the momentum that Jacob's been driving in the business because we are selling access to intelligence and information and helping people understand data and how to optimize that. So we do need to hold ourselves to account and make sure that we are setting a standard for ourselves internally. And we can say we are really good at that too, independent of, how our customers choose to engage with us.
So how can retailers learn from your incredible example then, Jacob?
Great story about this. I started doing these weekly AI sessions, and the first session or two, I found the coolest things I could find in AI, and I was trying to show people its range of capabilities and how accessible it was. And then I would watch how much they used the AI tools I gave them, and it was actually very little. And so then I stumbled upon this problem that we have. We've moved to HubSpot. The commercial team is using more HubSpot for CRMs, but generating and building reports is challenging, right? And so we added a little connector to Claude, actually, to HubSpot. And I did a workshop on that. And oh my goodness, like everybody on the commercial team is knocking on my door. They're like,
changed my life.
I've done this. How do I do this? They're so excited. They're constantly in it. And in hindsight, it's the most obvious thing in that you connect the technology to something that they need to do. And you show them how it can be done. And man, they're fishing on their own all day long. So I would encourage dealerships, you want to encourage play and experimentation. But find something that is bothering them about their day or their work and connect that for them, because now they see the pattern and they're trying to apply AI to a whole bunch of other problems that they have. That's magic.
So I'm lucky. We have like different early adopters in our business. So I'm on the Claude like early adopter thing. So we're practicing now. How do we start to plug it in? But also I built my son a website in like 10 minutes using AI. I asked AI, he had to build a portfolio for his work. He's doing film, and as part of his like portfolio, and it wants to be live and updated. I said, rather than having a portfolio, build a website and you can always update your content to your website. And we built it in like 5 minutes. We should maybe do some little mini episodes of you just do what you do outside of your business, help other people, learn from that, because I think that skill is really needed.
I just want to double down and emphasize the point again. The folks who are afraid of technology or don't think it's their domain, you built a website, right? Like the things that are accessible to the business users they're magical. And you just need to try it a little bit. That's the key.
Brilliant stuff. So then just think about what's inspiring you. What do you think innovations that are coming that you are really excited about, either in automotive or in the bigger tech space? What can we shine a light on?
So a little bit about how I came to TechCore 4. So I've been in technology for many, many years. I've been in AI and ML for almost 8. And I don't see the adoption of this technology at the pace I think it should be. I was at a research firm that did some pretty cutting edge stuff, but I was looking for industries that I felt were really ripe for technology to transform them. And I looked at a couple of industries, and I looked at automotive. This is a very traditional industry, and especially here in the UK, the adoption of digital has been slower than other industries. but the technology is at such a great place
Yeah.
to change the way we do business for all the reasons we just talked about. It's accessible in a way that hasn't been accessible before. It will create interfaces that we would have not thought possible. It'll make the vehicle owner experience, the dealer manager experience. It's just going to change those things.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm excited about, is seeing how this industry gets an opportunity to really adopt some of these things, and how it's going to fundamentally change how we do business.
We've got the OEMs building amazing product with data within the vehicle. So we've got connected vehicle data coming out that can connect up into this rich kind of tech landscape of loads of tech providers that actually, I say to OEMs, like, get your tech providers together. This is your team of experts. You don't have to build it yourselves. We don't build it all ourselves. We have a really robust partner ecosystem that helps us to accelerate all of those different pillars of, ability quickly across all of the areas that we operate in. Because otherwise you're just waiting forever, and tech resources premium, engineers there aren't that many of them. So Dominique, in your space, you've obviously come out again outside of automotive. What's exciting you?
I think about what could impact my team that also has real world practical application for the retailers. And being in sales, your calendar is your most important piece of your day to optimize. Your inbox is an absolute mess all the time. And you're spending a lot of time on the phone.
Yeah.
And what I find very hard to help my team with is how to help them get the most out of all of that.
Yeah.
How do you get the most out of your time? How do you optimize how you're communicating and managing your digital world? And how do I provide really intelligent insights and coaching when you're on the phone speaking with customers?
Yeah.
And there are amazing tools that have been introduced in the last few years to help really tackle all of those things.
Yeah.
And when we talk about myth busting, I built my career in people. I really think it is people plus tech.
Yeah.
And so it's the tech that's going to come in and help us get the most out of our people. And those are the things that I'm the most excited about.
That's brilliant. So listen, you're both from the accent. We can tell you're not from here. But what I would love to do, and what we always do on this episode, is always kind of get the road trip dream destination from our guests, and also we're building a little Drivetime podcast playlist. So we're going to download, some tunes from you both that we can add to the playlist, and then we'll kind of we share that as well through our social channels. But who wants to go first on a road trip destination that you've either been on or that is on your bucket list?
I haven't road tripped, but my husband and I have always said, the day in which we decide to move back to America, it will be, we'll have an interval where we spend 3 months in a camper going on Europe. So probably want to start in like the south of France and make my way up through the countryside and then really go through the Alps, just up and down as much as we could possibly go. But I don't know if you want to add my playlist, because really I'm in a West End choir, so I spend a lot of time.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm not like phenomenal. You don't need to try out for it. It's just more for fun.
Can I come?
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
No, you absolutely can. It's really fun. And like I said, cheaper than therapy. But so I listen to a lot of West End songs. And so the Anna Cleves song from Six is like, it was on my Hen Do playlist. So it's worth adding.
I love that.
Awesome.
I love that. Anna Cleves song. What's the song called?
Queen of the Castle or something like that. Yeah.
I love it. One of my best friend's daughters actually is in musical theatre.
Yeah.
And we took her to university. I was lucky enough to just be in the car. I drove her down. I said, right, make a playlist. And I was there because her mum was probably going to be crying all the way back. I was crying all the way down because and I was like, you're making her dreams come true. I couldn't keep it together. But she's actually been in the last, she's been in final casting for 6 on tour a number of times. I'm like, she's going to get it.
So good.
She's going to get it.
Wicked is coming out. A lot of our score this season is Wicked, part 2. So
nice.
Depends on how, nerdy you want to go.
You can come and sing in a West End choir for fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
I need to have that in my life.
It's a good plug. Yeah, absolutely.
I need to have that in my life. I'm coming.
It's conveniently, 2 stones from the Pret near our office. So it's worth the Tuesday night sneak away. Yeah.
Well, you'll probably appreciate this. So as an American, when I came to the UK, one of the things I really, really wanted to go see was Stonehenge.
Oh, nice.
And so I have a British friend, and I said, I really, really want to go see Stonehenge. And she goes, British people don't do that. We just drive by it.
On the highway.
I've never been to Stonehenge.
Right? And so I've never met a British person who's stopped at Stonehenge. They just drive by. And so we took the car, and I made her and my kids, we road trip to Stonehenge. Of course, it was the wind and rainiest day of the year that we had been here. So it made it very British.
Sideways rain, usually.
Sideways rain, that's exactly right.
But obviously, it's very close to Glastonbury, so it's on the bylines of all the amazing places. You can do the solstice.
It's actually a beautiful drive, and we hit a couple of pubs between here and there. So
keep going down to Wales.
It was a great road trip.
Every road trip in England has to have a couple of pubs. You have to stop at a pub. It's what we do. It's a thing. So on your road trip, so what's the playlist, or what song or band are you going to have?
Yeah, see, my default would have to be Johnny Cash.
Oh, I love Johnny Cash.
Much more sensible.
Any particular song?
Oh, I Walk the Line. It would probably be my go-to, but I'll listen to anything that's Johnny.
We need to add films. That's my favorite film. It's one of my favorite films, but I love that Joaquin Phoenix was amazing in that, wasn't he?
He did so good with the songs too. Yeah. That's
been amazing. So I'm going to wrap up the episode, and thank you both, Dominique and Jacob, for joining me on the Drivetime podcast. I am definitely going to be listening to the whole of 6, and I need some Johnny Cash on my way home. So thanks again for joining us. And that's been us from the Drivetime podcast.
Thanks.
And that was Dominique, Kleeman and Jacob Sullivan from Tech Call 4 on the Drivetime Gear Change episode of our Drivetime podcast. If you're watching us on YouTube, don't forget to like, subscribe and follow us for more, and you'll never miss an episode of the Drivetime podcast.